Femi Elon was one of the richest young men in Lagos. If you entered his compound for the first time, you would think it was a hotel for politicians or oil men. He had 3 mansions in Lagos alone. One in Lekki, one in Ikoyi, and another one near Victoria Island that he barely even stayed in. His garage looked like a car showroom. G-Wagons, Range Rovers, 2 Lamborghinis, old classic Benz cars he collected for fun, and 1 black Rolls Royce that people in Lagos already knew belonged to him any time it entered the street. Money was never his problem. At just 39 years old, he already had businesses in real estate, shipping, hotels, and oil servicing. He traveled almost every month. Dubai, London, South Africa, Paris, sometimes America, sometimes Ghana just for weekend rest. But one thing kept disturbing him: marriage. Not because women did not want him. Women loved Femi.
Femi smiled but said nothing. Then, after some silence, he finally spoke. I want somebody real. Tunde laughed again. Real girl for Lagos. Good luck. But Femi was serious. He was tired of girls caring about money first before character. Tired of fake love. Tired of women acting perfect until expensive gifts stopped coming. Then one day, an idea entered his mind. His family originally came from a village in Abia State. He had not stayed there properly since he was young. Most people there only knew that one of the sons of the village became successful in Lagos. They did not really know him personally anymore. So Femi made a crazy decision. He would go to the village and hide who he really was. He wanted to meet someone who would like him without knowing he had money. Not long after, he told nobody except Tunde. You are mad.
The villagers welcomed him politely, but nobody treated him like a rich man because he intentionally dressed simple, plain shirts, rubber slippers, old trousers. Some people even thought he was struggling in Lagos. The first few weeks were hard. There was no constant electricity. Mosquitoes disturbed him every night. The village rooster shouted every morning before sunrise. Sometimes network disappeared completely. Water had to be fetched. Food was cooked outside sometimes using firewood. At first, Femi almost gave up. But slowly he adjusted. Every morning he followed men to the farm just to blend in. Everybody laughed at him because he clearly did not know farm work. Lagos boy, they mocked him. One day he tried carrying cassava on his head and nearly fell inside mud. The villagers laughed so hard that even old women sitting nearby started holding their stomachs. But Femi laughed too. For the first time in many years, nobody wanted anything from him. Then he started noticing the girls in the village. Most of them were focused on men with visible money or status. The prince of the village, Prince Chinedu, was the most desired bachelor around. He was handsome, from the royal family, and always moved around with confidence. Anytime he entered gatherings, girls rushed to greet him. Some girls ignored Femi completely because they believed he was poor.
One even told her friend loudly while passing him one afternoon that one cannot even afford data. The girls laughed while walking away. Femi just smiled quietly. Then, one evening, everything changed. It happened near the village stream. Femi had gone there to wash mud from his slippers after returning from the farm. As he bent near the water, he suddenly heard shouting nearby. A young woman carrying a heavy bucket had slipped while trying to cross a narrow path. Water spilled everywhere. Other girls nearby started laughing at her immediately. See how she dey behave like goats. The girl looked embarrassed but stayed quiet. Femi noticed something different immediately. Unlike most village girls, she was not trying to impress anybody. No loud behavior, no fake laughter, no trying to get attention. She simply picked up the bucket and tried again. Femi walked over quietly. Sorry, he said. Let me help. The girl looked at him carefully before handing him the bucket.
thank you. Her name was Amara. She was not from his village. She came from another small village nearby after her aunt sent her to work as a maid for one rich family there. She cooked, cleaned, washed clothes, and helped take care of children almost every day. Life had not been soft for her. Her father died when she was young. Her mother struggled to raise 4 children alone. School stopped early because there was no money. Marriage was honestly the last thing on Amara's mind. She just wanted survival. Over the next few days, Femi kept seeing her around the village. Sometimes at the market, sometimes fetching water, sometimes carrying firewood. And every time he saw her, she stayed exactly the same.
Simple, quiet, real. One afternoon during rainfall, Femi entered a small roadside shed to avoid getting soaked. Few minutes later, Amara entered too, holding vegetables inside nylon bags. The rain became heavier. Both of them stayed quiet at first while watching the road flood slowly. Then Amara suddenly laughed softly. Femi looked at her. What? You really don't fit village life. Femi burst into laughter immediately. What gave me away? The way you walk, she said, smiling. And your hands never suffered before. Femi looked down at his soft palms and laughed again. For the next 30 minutes, they talked while rain poured heavily outside. And for the first time in years, Femi genuinely enjoyed talking to a woman. No fake accent, no pretending, no pressure. Just peace. After that rainy day, Femi could not stop thinking about Amara. It surprised him because he had met all kinds of women before. Models, actresses, influencers, rich businesswomen, girls from powerful families. But there was something about Amara that felt different. She talked normally. She laughed normally. She did not behave like somebody trying to impress him. So, what really happened to you in Lagos? Femi looked at her carefully. What do you mean? You don't behave like somebody born in village, and you're too calm for somebody struggling. Femi smiled slightly. I just got tired of Lagos. Amara nodded slowly like she understood. The city can change people. Femi looked at her. You've been there before? Yes, once. What happened? Amara became quiet for some seconds. Then she finally spoke. I worked for one woman there. And she treated me like I wasn't human. Femi listened quietly. Amara explained how she went to Lagos at age 19, hoping for better life. One woman promised to help her learn tailoring while staying with her family. But instead, she became more like a slave inside the house. She woke up before everybody every morning, slept after everybody, did all the cooking, washing, cleaning, everything. Sometimes the woman insulted her in front of visitors like she was worthless. One day she slapped me because her daughter lost an earring. Amara said quietly, I didn't even take it. What did you do? I left. You just left Lagos? Yes, with no money. She shrugged lightly. Peace is more important. That sentence stayed in Femi's mind long after they separated that evening. Peace is more important. Meanwhile, Prince Chinedu started noticing them together.
The prince was used to attention from women. Most girls in the village admired him openly. So when he noticed Amara barely cared about him, it bothered his pride. One afternoon during a village gathering, Chinedu walked over confidently where Amara sat with other girls. "You didn't come for the festival dance yesterday," he told her. "I was busy." "With what?" "Work." The prince smiled slightly. "You work too much." Before Amara could answer,
He noticed Femi approaching from a distance, carrying firewood. Chinedu laughed softly. You prefer spending time with farm boys now? Some girls nearby giggled. Amara's face changed immediately. He's a good person, she replied calmly. The prince smirked. Good person does not feed family. Femi heard the last part as he arrived, but pretended not to. He simply greeted everybody normally and sat down quietly. But deep inside, something annoyed him. For the first time in many years, somebody was looking down on him because they thought he had no money. And strangely, he liked it because now he could finally see people's real character. As weeks passed, Femi and Amara became closer. She started opening up more about her life.
Amara jumped slightly. You're scared of thunder? Femi asked, smiling. No! Another loud thunder struck immediately. This time, Femi laughed openly. Amara rolled her eyes. Okay, maybe small. The rain continued heavily for hours. Since she could not leave yet, they sat together talking deep into the night. Childhood stories, dreams, family problems, village gossip. Then at some point, silence entered the room. Not awkward silence, just calm silence. Both of them looked at each other at the same time, and slowly, very naturally, they moved closer. Femi touched her hand gently. Amara looked nervous, but did not move away. Then he kissed her. Softly at first. Outside, rain kept falling on the zinc roof, while the lantern light flickered quietly beside them. That night changed everything between them. After that, the whole village slowly started noticing they were no longer just friends. Some people mocked Amara for dating a poor farmer. Others pitied her. One woman even told her directly at the market, "You are wasting your beauty." But Amara did not care. For the first time in a long while, she felt happy around somebody. What she did not know was that the man she was falling in love with was hiding a life bigger than anything she could imagine. A few days later, something happened that shocked the village. One old man collapsed suddenly at the market and needed urgent medical help. People panicked because the nearest good hospital was far away. Cars were not common in the village, and most people there did not have transport money. While everybody argued about what to do, Femi quietly brought out his phone and made one quick call. Less than 40 minutes later, a black SUV arrived from the city with medical people inside. The villagers were shocked. The old man was rushed away immediately for treatment. People started murmuring quietly. How does this boy know people like this? That car looked expensive. Who exactly is he? Femi realized too late that he had made a mistake. Back in Lagos, he was used to solving problems fast with money and connections. He forgot village people notice everything. That evening, rumors spread quickly. Some said he used to work for rich politicians in Lagos. Others claimed he secretly belonged to a wealthy family. One woman even said she heard he once lived abroad. Amara also heard the gossip. Later that night, she visited him looking serious. Tell me the truth. Femi looked up from where he sat outside. About what? Who are you? Femi stayed quiet. Amara folded her arms. You called one car from nowhere like magic. It's not magic. Then explain. Femi sighed deeply. For the first time since coming to the village, he looked tired. I'll tell you one day. Amara's face fell immediately. One day? Yes. She shook her head slowly. You don't trust me. It's not that. Then what is it? Femi struggled to explain. Everything would sound like a lie. One Saturday morning, the whole village became busy because the king was hosting a large gathering at the palace. Drummers played music from early morning while women cooked big pots of soup and rice outside. People dressed nicely because visitors from nearby villages were coming too. Amara spent almost the entire morning helping her madam prepare food for the event. Femi also went later that afternoon wearing simple native clothes like everybody else. As he entered the palace compound, some men greeted him casually, while others barely noticed him. To them, he was still just that quiet Lagos returnee trying to survive village life. Meanwhile, Prince Chinedu moved around confidently, greeting guests. Women smiled anytime he passed. He enjoyed that tension too much. At some point during the event, Chinedu noticed Amara serving drinks near one corner. He walked over again. "You walk too hard," he said, smiling. Amara forced a polite smile. "Good afternoon. You should leave that maid walk. A beautiful girl like you deserves better." Amara already knew where the conversation was heading and honestly did not have strength for it. "I'm fine." Chinedu stepped closer. "Are you sure? Or that farmer boy has promised you heaven already?" Before Amara could answer, Femi appeared beside them quietly. She said she's fine.
The prince looked at him and laughed softly. "You again." Femi stayed calm. "Problem?" Chinedu looked him up and down before smirking. "No problem. I just find it funny." "What's funny?" "You carrying village girl dreams when you can barely take care of yourself." Some men nearby laughed quietly. Amara looked uncomfortable immediately. But Femi only smiled slightly. "You talk too much." The prince's face changed a little. Nobody usually answered him like that. Before the situation could become worse, older men nearby stepped in and calmed things down. But from that moment, tension started growing between both men. Later that evening, after the celebration ended, Amara and Femi walked home together through a quiet path lit only by moonlight. "You shouldn't argue with him," Amara said softly. "Why?" "He's the prince." Femi laughed. And people fear him. Femi kicked a small stone on the road carelessly. "I don't." Amara stopped walking and looked at him carefully. "Who are you really?" Femi paused for a moment. "What do you mean?" "You act poor, but you don't think like poor people." Femi smiled slightly but said nothing. Amara continued walking slowly. "You don't fear anybody. You talk differently. Even the way you look at things is different." Femi looked ahead quietly. Part of him wanted to tell her the truth already. But another part feared everything would change immediately once she knew. So instead, he said softly, "Maybe Lagos changed me." Amara did not fully believe it, but she let it go. A few days later, something happened that shocked the village. One old man collapsed suddenly at the market and needed urgent medical help. People panicked because the nearest good hospital was far away. Cars were not common in the village, and most people there did not have transport money. While everybody argued about what to do, Femi quietly brought out his phone and made one quick call. Less than 40 minutes later, a black SUV arrived from the city with medical people inside. The villagers were shocked. The old man was rushed away immediately for treatment. People started murmuring quietly. How does this boy know people like this? That car looked expensive. Who exactly is he? Femi realized too late that he had made a mistake. Back in Lagos, he was used to solving problems fast with money and connections. He forgot village people notice everything. That evening, rumors spread quickly. Some said he used to work for rich politicians in Lagos. Others claimed he secretly belonged to a wealthy family. One woman even said she heard he once lived abroad. Amara also heard the gossip. Later that night, she visited him looking serious. "Tell me the truth." Femi looked up from where he sat outside. "About what? Who are you?" Femi stayed quiet. Amara folded her arms.
You called one car from nowhere like magic. It's not magic. Then explain. Femi sighed deeply. For the first time since coming to the village, he looked tired. I'll tell you one day. Amara's face fell immediately. One day? Yes. She shook her head slowly. You don't trust me. It's not that. Then what is it? Femi struggled to explain. Everything would sound like a lie.
Amara looked hurt now. All this time, you've been hiding something. Before Femi could answer, she turned and left quietly. That night, neither of them slept properly. Meanwhile, Prince Chinedu had already started digging into Femi's life quietly. At first, he did not believe it fully, but later he found proof. Pictures from Lagos, wealth, cars, businesses. The whole village soon found out. People changed immediately. Respect increased overnight. Amara felt crushed when she learned he had been hiding everything. She confronted him. You made me look stupid. I needed somebody to love me without money. So you tested me? I didn't mean it like that. But it was too late. She walked away. Days later, Femi's mother arrived from Lagos angry, questioning everything and insulting Amara. Tension grew again. Amara packed her things and decided to leave the village. Femi stopped her at the bus stop. I love you. You belong to a different world. I don't care about that world. Your family does. She left. Femi returned to Lagos, where a major crisis hit. 8 billion naira was stolen from his company by a trusted executive working with hackers. Panic spread. Investigations began. Media chaos followed. Femi handled everything under pressure, recovering control step by step. Eventually, the culprit was caught at the airport trying to escape. Funds were traced and partially recovered. Stability returned slowly.
That night, Femi called Amara. It's over. You'll survive it. He smiled. I miss you. I miss you too. Days passed. Things settled. Femi asked her to come to Lagos. She was scared, but eventually agreed. When she arrived, life was overwhelming, but he stayed with her through it. His mother eventually softened after seeing how serious he was about her. One day she said, "You make him calm." Years later, Amara built her own small food business in Lagos while Femi continued his empire but no longer felt empty. They lived openly, no more hiding, no more pretending. In the end, it wasn't money that won. It was truth, patience, and 2 people who stayed even after everything was exposed.